I just make dollars, I don't make deals. I've been going hard in the paint, still blowing kush clouds till I can't feel like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like. 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like. 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right?
Welcome, everyone. You're now listening to the Say It With Your Chest podcast, and I'm your host, Mr. Lightskin Key Sweat. Thank you to everyone for the love and support that I've been getting throughout this season. Definitely appreciate YouTube. We getting a lot of love on YouTube these days, so definitely subscribe, definitely leave a comment, definitely tell a friend. Repost on social media as well. Send me some messages. Let me know what you're liking. Send me some of your favorite reposts from some of the clips that you like that I'm sharing. Also, you see we still got new merch. We got the Not Too Much on Us hoodies. Please tap in. Please check us out. We got a lot of colors available. Also, please listen to our playlist. We got the Love Up On Me. You see, it's about to be the holiday season right now. So definitely find you some love and utilize our playlist to set the mood. Now, if you're still in the hip hop mood, we got that too. We got the slaps. Check us out on Tidal. We definitely appreciate any feedback that you might provide. Now, as you can see, we are dressed up for the pod. We celebrating Halloween at home, where it's nice and safe. So trick or treat. Now, I like to do both. Okay, no, not too much on me. So we gonna move on. But I don't like to be scared. I don't like too much about Halloween. Now, as a kid, of course, I used to dress up. I used to walk the neighborhood. I used to go to other people's neighborhoods too. If my neighborhood wasn't that good, or if my mama didn't want to be in my own neighborhood, which that was very consistent. We always went to my grandma's house. We always went where it was a lot more safer, where we were more familiar. We had a lot of other family members on the block. So we was always around that area. And that's what you miss these days. People not really familiar with the community. And if you don't really know your neighbors, or you're really trying to trick or treat in your neighborhood. So I don't know. I don't really believe in it, even though I have done it in the past. And I'm not all the way opposed to it, but it's risky. It's not safe. Sometimes that big bad wolf might come out and blow down your house. Now, they got some scarier creatures out there. And in real life, they really got some real life demons and devil worshippers who aren't for the right. So I like to be inside these days. In my opinion, Halloween is almost not even for the kids these days. It's definitely not safe. You got to check the Halloween candy. I saw a video recently where a guy found a few needles in some candy for his kids. So you got to be careful. Now, I don't know how truthful some of these videos you be seeing online are. A lot of things are AI these days, but you got to put things in perspective. And you can't take too many chances with your children. And this candy is cheap, so I don't really care too much about the experience as much. So you got to find other things to do. Now, I've noticed a lot of community events, a lot of trunk or treats. Now, I'm not really the fan of decorating my car for anything. I don't like to put too much signage outside of the Say It With Your Chest podcast logos on my vehicle. So I'm not a fan of really decorating and getting my car too dirty. I clean my car every day, every other day. So that lets you know I'm always running through the car wash, and I really don't be liking all that extra going on. But I do see that that is an alternative for those who don't want to have others knock on their door. A little more safer of an opportunity for people to still celebrate. But do you even know what you're celebrating? See, that's why I can just go to the store the day after Halloween and buy a candy when they go on sale. And I get whatever kind of candy I was wanting. And the older we getting, we realizing we don't really need the candy anymore. You take one bad bite, you're not getting that tooth back anymore. You see, I got all my teeth right here, okay? I might blow your house down, but that's just for the day. Now, some people do think my ulterior ego is a big bad wolf. Now, I don't think I am, although please don't try to find out. Like I said, there's a lot of criminals, a lot of creatures that's out at night. Now, you see, a lot of the scary movies depict a lot of the bad things that go on during this time. Now, I do not like to be outside late anymore, okay? It's not safe. You watch the news, you see a lot of things that goes on that you're not going to like and you're not going to want to be a part of, and you're not going to want to be taking chances behind no candy. Not no more. Not in 2025. Now, you see the candy prices then already went up. Okay. Now, some of y'all might be trying to go get that free candy. And I understand. Maybe you going trick or treat early. You see, the time is changing. Daylight savings then came already. So you didn't have to make a big adjustment this past weekend. Okay. But for Halloween, I'm getting a little more excited about it the more older I'm getting. For me, I believe I want to one day dress up seriously for Halloween. Someday, real soon. Now, I want to put some real thought into it. Let it be a character that's not been seen recently. Maybe even take a nice little photo shoot at home for free. But take some nice pictures. Maybe even go to a party. Maybe even throw a party. That's how serious I want to do it one good time. Okay. But you can't wait till the last minute. You got to really put a plan in place, and you cannot be cheap. So, like I said, I usually be preoccupied, but that is something I will do one day. So, you will eventually see me in more than just a mask. You're going to see me in a whole ensemble for Halloween just to say I did it, because I like seeing a lot of people and their creativity during this time. Now, it's not about candy anymore. And like I said, I don't think it's safe for the kids, but the adults are having a good time. They are going out, they're dressing up, they're having great parties. I saw a lot of great pictures. I like when the celebrities spend money and they put a lot of effort into dressing up for Halloween. And like I said, I'm going to do that one day. And when I do it, and if I have to spend a lot of money, which won't be a lot to y'all, but a lot to me, I'm going to wear that all day long. Okay, maybe 2 days. Now, I'm going to see if I can take a shower or how I'm going to be able to stay clean and use the restroom. Okay, I guess I'm not going to really do my whole body per se, but nonetheless, I need to make sure I plan everything, but I'm going to get my money's worth. Some kind of way I'm going to find a way to utilize everything and prepare properly, but I'm going to make it work. Now, like I told y'all on the last episode, I told y'all Verzuz didn't need to come back, okay? Now, Halloween was on a Friday, and I saw a lot of people went out because it's on a Friday. Now, on a Saturday, you thinking more people gonna go out, not be at home watching Verzuz. So right there, I told y'all we didn't miss the moment, we didn't miss the wave. It's not time for that anymore. Verzuz is over. Now, if you're doing some live Verzuz, maybe that can become a thing as everybody wants to go to a concert. But shout out to my city, New Orleans. Okay. I love what it did for my city. I loved how everybody came out, how everybody was hyped to be in their camouflage gear, their white tees, their soldieries. I really enjoyed things. Now, I did not watch. I told y'all I was not going to watch because I told y'all this was not going to be that good because this was not in New Orleans. This was in Las Vegas. Everybody in Las Vegas in the crowd did not know the songs. The only reason this was entertaining because you knew the songs. You was dancing your ass off at home. You was doing your thing because everybody at my house was doing their thing. I was in the background a little bit for some of the songs. But I was working out, I was handling business. I didn't really want to tap in too much. But every time I checked, it looked a little unorganized. Not as unorganized as previous events, but still not as smooth as I would like. And no Lil Wayne. I didn't like that. We already knew he wasn't going to be there. But we had hope. We believed he would be there. We believed people would figure out a way. And I don't like what BG then came out and said recently when he then stated that Lil Wayne was sick, not feeling well, maybe even went to the hospital, okay? And although that may be true, I don't want to hear that. But I wanted to see Lil Wayne show up at Verzuz. And because it wasn't at home, and because there's always some turmoil amongst Cash Money, I believe that's why he did not show up. Okay. He is the biggest artist that they have on the label, and he do not need any benefit from performing on this platform. So he didn't come, and it is what it is. But I saw all of the people that I know personally enjoy themselves and have a great time, and it was great for my city. I just like seeing my city happy. Now I know y'all not happy with everything going on in the city, but y'all had a great moment, and some of the people I knew personally out here in Georgia that I would run into maybe at the bowling alley or so. Shout out to my guy Sam. He definitely had on his camouflage. He definitely was talking about his old run-ins back in the day with Cash Money when he was doing his thing. So we be talking, he be sharing stories. That's my guy. I really enjoyed myself, but I did not enjoy when Birdman got on the mic. I didn't really enjoy anything from Birdman. To be honest, I don't like Birdman, but not too much on anything in regards to my city. We gonna be positive a little bit more. I think we need more of that in the world. We don't need people acting like the big bad wolf. We need people acting a little more nicer, coming with the love. You might look like a wolf. I might look a little dangerous, but just know I'm super sweet inside and I come with nothing but love. All right. This a smile on my face. Welcoming anybody who wants to come over to have positive conversations about positive things. But why wasn't Birdman talking positive in his speech? It sounded good at first. But then he had to go say something about Turk. And I know there's always some turmoil, but sometimes you gotta keep some things in house, and that was not the moment to bring that up, Birdman. But you was full of that liquor. Now, they say you was celebrating your 1 year anniversary with Miss Toni Braxton, but your sister-in-law, Miss Tamar Braxton, was the one handing you water, trying to keep you cool and hydrated. And she was having a good time. I like Tamar a lot. I like her music, but she definitely seemed like somebody fun to be around at times. But everybody fun to be with at times. But are they going to be good to be around all the time or more times than not? So keep that in mind. Now, I told y'all No Limit was going to win. I told y'all they was going to be better organized. I told y'all if Cash Money was going to be on that lean, I don't know what Birdman was on, but he was leaning. Okay, keep that in mind. Now, I told y'all if Cash Money didn't have their stuff together, Juvenile wasn't going to be able to carry him by itself, and Master P was going to come through with the No Limit Soldiers, with the army tank, And that's what he did, okay? He played them hits, they were bops. He had his side bopping a lot harder, a lot more believing and supporting the organization, remembering the history. Now, they had a little light drama, but you didn't hear about that till after the fact. But I was happy about the celebration. I like seeing Mia X. I will say I wish Mystical was there. But if he really don't know how to keep his hands to himself with the ladies, he need to be where he was at. Okay, so I'm gonna mind my business, but I definitely love hearing a lot of them No Limit classics. And like I said, I told y'all who was gonna win. Now I also told y'all who was gonna win a long time ago in the Haley and the DDG situation. I told y'all love was gonna win at the end of the day. Ladies, you can't always forget about the good just because we don't like what's going on currently. People do make mistakes, things do happen, and maybe we might can't be together anymore. But maybe we can be cordial enough to make good decisions for the family. And maybe it can grow to being more down the line, but at least we can be good to be able to do what we need to do. And I'm happy to hear that they are trying to keep the courts out of their situation by dropping the lawsuits against each other. And I'm very happy to hear that. Now, I want you to know, fellas, the real thing that works, the real thing that helps you win at the end of the day is the fact that you was really a good dad, that you really was doing great work, because the truth will always set you free, okay? If you really did things, you're going to be able to continue to do things. You're going to show you can do things. You can prove you done things. And you want to do more things because it is cheaper to keep these kids, okay? It is so much cheaper to have these kids half of the time if you're not going to be with the parent. Just letting you know. So stop just letting them take that money out your check like that and be involved in your kid's life. And I'm very happy to hear that they are moving towards a good direction and a betterment for their kids. See, I feel strongly about them kids. I feel strongly about the type of sacrifices we have to make as parents to be able to be there and to give them some of the best things that they need. And it's not always the material things. Recently, a great friend of mine recommended a documentary I should watch, and I eventually gave it a chance. Now, I don't like documentaries. That's not something I watch. It's not something I give my time to. I'm not really liking to hear people's stories like that, okay? So that's not my cup of tea. But I've been hearing a lot of buzz about this outside of the recommendation from my friend. And one day, I didn't have much to watch. It came across my lap, and I gave it a try. The Perfect Neighbor. Now, this was a very interesting documentary. I believe this could have happened to any one of us. Now, this was all about these bad ass kids, okay? These kids did not know where they should be playing at versus where they shouldn't be playing at. Now, for me, this is why you need both parents involved with the kids. Either so that they can be with the other parent at their house if both parents aren't together, or so the other parent can help mitigate different situations that can come about, so that they can make better decisions for the family, so that they can go ahead and relocate if need be, because they have two incomes hopefully coming in the household. They're working together, trying to grow and trying to obtain better things and achieve better things for their family. But in this situation, it didn't seem like there was both parents in the household. Okay. Now, I didn't think nothing was too wrong with these kids. These kids were not playing with guns. They weren't stealing. All these kids wanted to do was play outside in this open lot with their friends and have a good time. Whether it was during the break time, whether it was after school, these kids were outside. in this story. Now, what else do you want kids to do? We always say we don't want these kids inside on their tablets, on their phones, on their computers. We want these kids like we used to be outside, playing, fresh air, exercising, learning how to ride a bike, experiencing different little things, but in a safer environment, something close by. These kids was across the street from their house. But the lady who happened to be next to this empty lot happened to not like all the commotion that was coming from these kids. Now, again, I didn't like a lot of the things these kids was doing either. I would not have liked being next door to these kids myself. That is a me thing, okay? I don't like other people kids. That's why they say sometimes I be acting like the big bad wolf because I may scare other people away sometimes because I really don't want to be bothered. And this lady kept trying to let people know she didn't want to be bothered, and no one really listened to her. Let's start with that. They tried to communicate a little bit. And at the end of the day, this lady expressed that she did not understand why these kids were being allowed to play in this empty field. It wasn't for them. It technically was private property, even though it wasn't her property. I don't know why she trying to enforce somebody else's property. Now, she was trying to do it mainly because I believe she didn't care for black and brown people a little bit. I don't think it was just because of commotion or the type of things these little kids was doing. She was a lonely lady. She really needed some dick. I ain't gonna hold you. If she had a man at home, she didn't even have to have a man that was just for her. If she was going outside, she was bowling. If she had some hobbies in her life, she would not be worried about them kids. She would not be home. And when she was home, she would be tired. She would be trying to get some rest because she was busy being outside looking for a man. And when she was at home resting, she would also be catching up on her shows. She would be listening to her music. She would be talking on the phone. She would not be looking outside her windows. She would not be playing with her keys, setting off the alarm to play with these badass kids who was outside riding their bikes and playing with their toys. Now, if you throw a skate at my kid, I'm coming over to your house to ask you some questions as well. Now, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know what I'm going to do. But you going to see the wolf come out me. You going to see a lot of things come out me. It's going to be dangerous. It's going to get ugly. And I promise you, I do not know what I'm going to do. But I'm going to do some things. And I'm going to get you back. And I'm going to make sure that I don't get in trouble for it either. But one thing I cannot predict is what you may do to me if I want to come do something to you. And you better be prepared when you're ready to snap back at those because not everybody going to just let you do what you want when you angry. So keep that in mind. But this could have all been prevented. This lady did not have to die. This lady did not have to have her children create this situation with this lady. They could have rectified this situation. They could have been more cordial. They could have figured out a way. The cops could have mediated this situation a lot better than what they was doing. They kept coming out. They seemed like they wasn't that tired for coming out. And they didn't seem to be too tired about coming out all them different times. I would have been super frustrated. I would have been trying to give these people some counseling. At minimum, I would have been trying to sit them down and mediate and find a resolution. But everybody sat around, knew what was going on, and contributed to this lady dying. Now, I'm very happy that they actually had a conclusion that was very favorable because you're not going to normally get these type of situations. You're normally not going to get a conviction in these type of cases because it was close. My mama said she didn't think this lady should have went to jail, okay? My mama said she be calling the cops too. That's what she said. Now, I made her watch it on her birthday, all right? they didn't have too much on TV. I thought it was a great show, and I wanted to see her reaction. I wanted to know how she would feel because I know she don't like badass kids either. And I'm Wolf Jr. and she Wolf Sr. All right. I'm just gonna let you know. I should have brought her on here with her wolf mask because this is who I get it from. So just know she did not agree with letting these badass kids do whatever they wanted. She was in agreement with everything this little white lady was doing. She said, "Hey, what was you expecting?" And I agree. What were you expecting? But at the end of the day, you ain't think that white lady had no gun. Y'all thought she was just barking. Y'all was calling her Karen. So you never know what people might do. So keep that in mind. That's why I think it was a great show to watch because it should remind you of one, who your neighbors may be, two, why it is important to find a better resolution because you never know what the outcome may be and you never know how it may impact you. So keep all of that in mind. Definitely check out that show. Now, another great show that I'm watching, I keep talking about it, Reasonable Doubt. You know how I feel. We super caught up over here. So if you're not caught up, please fast forward a few minutes because Jax and Lewis and Jack's daddy finally had their little conversation and they got a lot more information coming out. And I like what's going on. I'm not going to hold you. This show is rolling. I've been telling a lot of people about it. I really feel good about it. And I was late to the first season, but I finally caught up after the second season started. And I was prepared for the third season because Jax is a great actress. And I'm really only here to watch her in action. I like how she juggling things. I like how she the alpha in her relationship. I like women who take charge, who handling business, even though she still be super emotional. And you gotta be careful. She the wolf in her family, and they be careful around her. They make sure to not tell her everything right away because they don't know what she gonna do. She might explode. They might not like how she gonna respond. But you see, Lewis definitely had to come and explain himself after some things came out. He had to let her know I didn't want to do it, but I had to. But I was still trying to do the right thing. So please keep that in mind. Don't treat me badly because we've been doing good things and we've been doing real well in our relationship. Everything been moving forward good and he getting some on a regular and he don't want to mess that up. He not doing nothing to jeopardize things personally, quietly. He actually trying to just be a good husband and a good father. So he really don't need nothing to come in and mess things up. And that's how all us men feel. You not trying to do nothing to mess up the consistency of the ass. I don't care if you married or not. You trying to protect getting you some on a regular. That's just how it go. That's just the game. Fellas, that's super important to us. So Jack's definitely not trying to mess things up. So he had to apologize. And he had to make a decision. And I was seeing the dilemma he was in as he was making that decision, but he made a choice and he knew what may come with it, but it was what it was. But great show. I hope everybody checking out Reasonable Doubt. I hope everybody is tapped in. Now, I hope everybody also watching Abbott Elementary still. I hope y'all watching this new season. Everything about this show is phenomenal. I told y'all I love watching consistent black television. I just like seeing us on TV and I like seeing different storylines. I'm not super judgy. I just want quality TV. That's it. So I appreciate the show. I'm glad they back. I hope they keep being renewed because it's wholesome TV that you can watch with your family. Now something else that I watched recently, a great movie that I want to recommend is called Good Fortune. They have Keanu Reeves, Seth Rogen, and Aziz Ansari. Not sure if you remember the comedian who had a little accusation that really kind of messed up his career at one point, but he's been slowly rebuilding, and it's a great little movie. It's about what would you do if some fortune fell in your lap. You was less fortunate for a while, you was having some bad luck, things wasn't going your way, and then all of a sudden somebody came into your life and gave you another option, provided you an opportunity, and you took full advantage. But would you do the right things if given the opportunity to do things differently? But what would you do if you was given a lot of money? How would you help others? What would you do for yourself? A lot of these things was played out in this movie. Like I keep telling y'all, you should watch everything at home. It's safe, and you're not going to complain as much if it's not as good when you didn't spend a lot of money. Now, something else that I was watching that I thought was pretty decent. Now, I don't like that it was on Netflix, but I did think the movie was intriguing. So I gave it a try. It was A House of Dynamite. It had my guy Idris Elba in it, and it had a few other actors and actresses in it that I recognized, but Idris was the big name, although Idris was having a lot of things going on in his personal life during the movie, at least in the beginning. I could relate to what he had going on as he was scheduled to have a colonoscopy the next day. And he was having to take this pre-liquid mixed drink that makes you go to the restroom. It cleanses you out and prepares your body for this exam that you're going to have, this colonoscopy. So he was in the middle of doing this, and the world was turning upside down. They went from DEFCON 4 to DEFCON 1 in a matter of hours, and he was still on the toilet. Okay, so I thought that was very interesting, as, like I said, I could relate a little bit. And I like also how Angel Reese made a good cameo in the movie. I thought that was cool. You see, she's trademarked her name, Angel Reese. No need for any disguises. She's bigging herself up and making a big name for herself. So I thought that was very nice, very well branded of her to be doing these things. And she looked good. She looked good. She young though. So I ain't really looked that long. I ain't looked that long, but I was just saying, she looked like a nice, wholesome young lady. But I will say, in the title of the movie, A House of Dynamite, this was so relatable to what's kind of going on in the world. They was definitely talking about nuclear weapons in this movie, and that's what's going on in real life. Your guy Trump is always in the news because he is the news. He say he want the United States to resume nuclear testing. Now, Trump, I don't think you really know what you're talking about, bro. And they keep trying to remind you, they keep trying to update you that ain't what you want. They got some other people who got more options than what we got on the nuclear stuff, and we have some agreements in place that say we not supposed to be doing nothing. So I need you to get your facts in order before you get to saying whatever you want. But you just like talking, bro. And you like talking before thinking and researching. Now I do some of that, so I understand some of that. But I also know you gonna make some mistakes, bro. And you be making a lot of mistakes. And this ain't one of the mistakes you need to be making, okay? So keep that in mind. Please keep that in mind, bro. Although I know you don't care. You only thinking about yourself. So, you a big bad wolf too. You just don't like everybody. You a racist big bad wolf, okay? You like only select people, your people. And it's not everybody. So definitely, people shouldn't be supporting you if they don't agree with everything that you're doing. And you don't need to disagree with everything. Just disagree with a few things that are very important things that mean a lot to others. Even though they may not mean a lot to you, please have some compassion. And I wish Trump had some compassion for others at some point in his life. I wish people could influence him a little bit more than what they have already shown that they can, because it seemed like he's been using people more than people have been able to utilize him. I ain't gonna say use, but I'm gonna say utilize, because it don't seem like you can use Trump, but he definitely seemed like he been using a lot of people. He been saying he gonna do some things that he ain't showing that he gonna really do. So Trump, please do some research, because they say Russia say please tap that button so we could go ahead and do some things, because we've been waiting to unleash our big bad wolf and all our nuclear weapons over here. So keep that in mind. This ain't the time of the year to be starting no wars. We looking for forgiveness. We looking for love. It's about to be the really good holiday times, the times to come together, the times to fellowship, eat that good food. Okay, I'm not gonna be eating that good food. We gonna be on a diet. We're gonna be slimming tea around here. All right. So don't be checking for us to be at the dinner table, but just know we understand the vibes that's gonna be being set. We gonna definitely be a part of the communion, but we not gonna be eating the food. Okay. So keep that in mind. You still need to be in the environment and sharing in the love. But Trump, why you think it's okay for you to try to create a government where you can control everything? Why you think it's okay to get rid of the filibuster? That's in place for others to not be able to do whatever they want if they have a little power. And the Republicans got a little power, but they can't do everything just because they got a little power. They can't just make whatever decision you want them to make right now. We don't like that. We don't understand that. That's why I keep trying to let y'all know he really wants to create a dictatorship. He wants to be like Russia. He wants to be like China. He wants to be like these other countries where they have one person in place, they get to stay in place forever, and they get to rule with authority. That's what he wants to do. And he wants to do things based on what's best for him, what's best for those who are supporting things that are for him. So this is not the president we need to be helping us out and give us the type of things we need to be successful. And you see, we're already going to break the record this week. The record was 35 days, and we're going to have that beat before the end of the week. So I told y'all this. I hope I was wrong, but I knew I would be right. I knew that this was being done as a tactic in negotiation. People are trying to find a way to use leverage, and this is the only thing that the Democrats can use right now. So they are using it. And you don't want the Democrats to lose their leverage. I support the shutdown. Now, I wish we was working so that we could get paid, but I support the Democrats using their only leverage. I believe the Democrats need to use what they have to be able to fight for the few things we can still get. People need their SNAP benefits. Sorry. Now, I don't think you need to be able to obtain SNAP benefits for the rest of your life. I do think the program needs to be reworked. There should be a cap, but this should not be done this way. However, if you want some change, you gotta hit people where it hurts. Now, we've been saying for the longest that people was eating whatever they wanted with the food assistance. And I don't know. Who am I to tell people what to do with their stamps? How to swipe their EBT card? I told y'all I'm about to get mine if they say we could get one. I'ma need whatever assistance I can get if they don't pay me my money. So I understand. I don't hate. I'm not judging. But you only need it if it's in a time of need, in my opinion. It's only to help you get on your feet. But I hope this will end soon. I hope somebody on the Republican side will eventually cave and come to the negotiation table and give in a little bit. Give in to some of the demands for the betterment of other people than themselves, other people than Trump. Please. If not, we all need to be figuring out where to go. We need to be figuring out where we gonna move. I said that before he got elected. They talking about giving him another term. I do not know. I do not want to be here. We gonna have to figure something else out, y'all. Now, I know we can't go to Jamaica for a while, okay? So I want to first say rest in peace to everyone in Jamaica. Hurricanes are not to be messed with. I come from a city where hurricanes come every year, and I know about having to evacuate. It is not something you want to do. And every now and again, even though you may get used to evacuating, one day the storm will hit. One day you will experience losing some material things due to damage from the storm. And it just is what it is if you live in a place that has consistent hurricanes. And Jamaica is definitely one of those places. So condolences to those who maybe lost their lives, who maybe lost some of their personal belongings or their property, their homes, their places to stay. You never wish that upon anyone. And Jamaica was definitely a place that you may try to go to when it's a little colder. Now, the weather is definitely changing right now. It's not hot. I told y'all it's hoodie season. I told y'all not too much on me. I need you to go get your hoodie right now. Please get your hoodie. $50. Check us out. Don't have me turning the bad wolf. I'm Mr. Love Wolf right now, okay? Not Diddy Love. Just regular Love Wolf, all right? We showing birthday love. Shout out to everybody born in 85 like myself. We turned 40 this year. Everybody celebrating. I just see everybody that I grew up with, a little older, a little younger, but around my age. People are just trying to live their best life. But that weather right now is not allowing us to be as happy as we would like. It's getting a little cooler, and I don't mind, but I will say I didn't have to turn my heat on in the house, okay? And I was waiting it out. I was making everybody suffer. I first started with the fireplace, but I didn't have to put that heat on consistently enough. So I'm just letting you know, I thought that cool temperature, that cool breeze was going to be quick and inconsistent, but that's the only consistent thing going on right now because it don't seem like it's going anywhere and we already in November. I also have noticed that it's homecoming season. That's not something that I attend. I do not go back to homecoming, as going back to homecoming for me is going back home. I left home a long time ago for many reasons, but mainly because I want to experience new things. I don't like doing the same thing over and over. I don't mind visiting. I don't mind going back when I need to, but sometimes when you did it already, it's cool to try to do something else. But homecoming is something I've only been to one time. And I've been to two different schools, but only one time going to homecoming. So keep that in mind. But I noticed some of my schools have been in the news for other things than just homecoming. I see Tulane, y'all was out here transporting some monkeys, and I see supposedly a truck flipped over and the monkeys escaped, but y'all caught a couple, but one's still on the loose. I'm just trying to understand what's really going on. I'm going to really let everybody know. And I think it may come out later in a documentary that I'm not going to watch, but I don't think that's really what happened. Okay. I don't know what happened. But if I was a conspiracy theorist, I would think a lot of other things other than what they told me. They started to tell me that the monkeys had COVID, they had hepatitis, they had herpes. I don't like none of that. Okay. I'm trying to stay away from all that. Now they say they killed all but one, and now they say they can't find just this one monkey. Now I don't like that this truck overturned in Mississippi because we already be hearing bad things that be going on in Mississippi. I be wanting to hear about the positive things that go on in Mississippi because I know they exist. They got my guy Jeremy. He got his new bakery going on in Mississippi. He moved back home. So that's something positive. I always see him showing all the positive things he got going on in the community. He currently decorating super early for Christmas. So shout out to him. But somebody need to go find these monkeys. somebody need to tell me a little bit more about what was going on. What was the need for the transportation? And what really happened in this accident? Trucks don't just be flipping over like that. Okay. I need to understand a little more details. Cause I be driving that little drive from New Orleans all the way to Georgia and I ain't never flipped no car. So what were you doing? And why weren't you driving a lot safer? Especially if you knew you might have been carrying some monkeys that you said had some extra diseases. Now you said you was mistaken, but the driver told everybody supposedly that these monkeys had COVID, hepatitis, and herpes. So I'm not really sure, although he's retracted his statement, and that's where stuff start getting a little fishy for me. So right now, instead of Tulane talking about homecoming, talking about how they was doing good in football, but we done lost a couple games, but we gonna get better and we gonna hopefully make it to a nice bowl game still. Now we talking about some escaped monkeys from an overturned truck and the story not sounding the most straightforward. But we gonna move on. We got my other alma mater, HBCU, Xavier University, in the news as well. Homecoming coming up as well this week. I'm not going, but I have been before at least. They say the 100-year celebration is this year. Although the few people who reached out super late, I hope they reach out next year a lot earlier so that I can choose to maybe come next time. But I need a lot more notice, and I need y'all to be doing some more advanced things at homecoming. I need us to get a tent. I need us to plan a party, get a little section or something. I don't need it to be no regular little weekend where y'all just going outside and winging it and drinking outside the car, winging it and just walking everywhere with your bottle that you're riding in your car with. I need something that's going to entice us to even travel to come because, again, going to homecoming for me is going home. But I did hear that y'all are laying off 50 people. This is not the time to be laying off anybody, Xavier. What are y'all doing? They say this was very unexpected. But maybe y'all needed a little more money to pay for Mariah the scientist. Now, I heard she was going to be there performing for homecoming. And I wish y'all would have led with the fact she was going to be there because I maybe would have moved some things around and I would have went. But because y'all told me super late, there's no way I can do anything to make it happen. But Mariah almost got me to come to homecoming this year. But to me, I kind of agree. Homecoming is not for the alumni. Homecoming's supposed to be for the YNs. Homecoming supposed to be for everybody who already at the school. Okay, in my opinion. But maybe they just need to have aunties and uncles day and YN's day because I think it might be a different type of experience. Sometimes them aunties and uncles take over, and I always like when the YNs mix with the older group. So let's keep that in mind. But for me, I'ma just watch from afar. And I promise you I'm not really watching. But I'm pretty sure somebody gonna update me on a few small things. Just like a few people updated me on the fact that LSU finally fired their head football coach. Thank you very much. I've been telling Noah that Brian Kelly been trash. He should not have ever gotten that type of money because he's never won. That's it. If you're going to come to LSU and you're going to get paid that big check, you got to have won somewhere before. And he's barely won. And I didn't understand all the extra love he was getting, but they gave him a chance. And it was time for him to finally go. He was losing some games he should have won. We don't like what he be saying after the games. He not the most friendliest. I just hate all the money we gonna have to keep paying after we find a new coach. But he had to go. Change is needed. Sometimes when things aren't going well, you just gonna have to make an adjustment. And I like the interim coach, FYI, a black guy. I think LSU needs a black guy to finally coach all the black players that they got on the team. I don't understand why these organizations, these universities want to have all the black talent, but want to have the white leadership. Just keep that in mind because that's what I'm seeing. You got to give some other people a chance, and I like what the guy was saying in his press conference, so I hope he get a chance. Now, I'm happy that Jaylen Brown from the Boston Celtics finally gave going bald a chance too, because his hairline kept rubbing off on his opponent's jersey. They was wearing white jerseys, and as they playing defense, he leaning in, and his hairline rubbing off on his jersey, and it's not looking the best. And people were talking about it. They were noticing. They were clowning him, and he had to go do what he had to do. Like I said, fellas, sometimes it's time to let it go. When everybody can start noticing, it's time to let it go. I ain't gonna hold you. It's all right. It happens to everybody. But because it happens to everybody, it don't mean we should keep it. We need to let it go when it's our time. It's okay to accept getting old. You just need to make being old look good. It don't look good trying to still hold on to looking young. You gotta adjust to where you at. Now you could be a good looking old person, but you still gotta look like an older person. You can't look young and you older. So shout out to Jaylen Brown for finally going bald. You don't know when you're gonna lose that hairline. You don't know what age it's gonna be. He a young guy. He not even in his 30s. But the game is the game, bruh. And you might try to get that hair transplant. But at the end of the day, until you do that, bruh, you gonna have to go ahead and cut it all off. So keep that in mind. But you've been doing good. You've been dominating since you cut the hair. Scoring 30 points, your team been winning. They needed you. They've been needed you. They ain't want to tell you nothing, but they finally glad you got the hint. Now, although I don't like that LeBron is still out, I'm glad that he getting some rest still. He getting older, so I don't think he need to play a full season anymore anyway. But I'm glad my guy Luca and AR-15 are still holding things down. We still looking decent. We not looking the best, but we not looking as trash as the Pelicans. Now, we wish we was looking like the San Antonio Spurs and Wemby, but we not looking like the Pelicans. So things could be worse. Sometimes you got to look at the positive things, not always focus on the negative. Now, unfortunately, although NBA is back, the game's been pretty good so far. We're not talking too much about the games as it's a long season and it's early, but there's already some scandal. You see, they trying to legalize gambling, and some of these players and coaches and ex-players are taking advantage of some things. You see, you got Chauncey Billups betting on poker games and got illegal tables and cards with numbers on the back of them so you know what it is, but it's written in a different color and you only can see it if you got special glasses on and stuff like that. I like that, but I hate that at the same time. It depends on what side of the equation you're on. And at the end of the day, it's still unfair. And I like to gamble, but I like to gamble fairly. I want it to be even for everyone. And you see, they was not trying to let anybody win. And I didn't like that. Now, I don't know how much Chauncey Billups was a part of this, but his name is tied and it's looking like they're going to have a case. The feds do not come out if they don't already feel like they're going to win. They say they got about a 90% win rate, so I'm hoping Chauncey figure out something to do. I hope he don't start snitching, but you see Damon Jones, they say he was telling too. He was trying to share some information. They say maybe about LeBron, that's his guy. Sharing when he might miss some games, give some inside scoops. I don't know. I think we might get out of this one, Damon. I don't know. But like I say, when the feds come knocking, usually you better be prepared. And then I thought we cleared Terry Rozier. They said he was good, but maybe he not good to everybody because he was arrested too. Now his name been floating around for a little while, but they finally been building their case on him, I suppose, and I guess it's time. Because they did this right after the first game of the season, which I thought was very strategic. Because you want to do this when people not expecting this. And nobody was expecting this to happen when this happened. So I'm thinking, like I said, the feds know what they're doing. Everything seemed well orchestrated. Just like I feel like the MLB playoffs was very well orchestrated. But not too much on them. So shout out the LA Dodgers. And I told y'all, I was hoping the Toronto Blue Jays was going to win because they was having a better season throughout the year. But I was not betting on them because I knew that was Drake's team. And Drake don't be having good luck as much as I be wanting to have good luck. He can afford to have some more bad luck than me because his life not going to change too much. If I miss a couple parlays, I might have to eat ramen noodles or something like that. I might have to come knock on your door and ask you for some food or be the big bad wolf. But we're going to see how the off season play out for a lot of these teams. But I told y'all baseball is a long season. I'm happy it's over with. I didn't watch too many games, but the playoffs was definitely fun to keep up with. So shout out again to the Dodgers. They won back to back, and let's see if they can three-peat. You see, this rarely happens in any sport, so let's see if they can go down in history. But great season, and they was battle tested, and it worked out at the end of the day. Now, what's not going to work out at the end of the day is seeing Clarissa Shields face Layla Ali. These ladies just want to argue on social media because they say they're not going to fight. Layla says she ain't got time to be associating herself with this girl who keep disrespecting her family. Now, I don't know why you making these well orchestrated posts and videos, but at the end of the day, you said you're not gonna do it and you're standing on business. So I hope y'all stop talking about it and move on. Clarissa, I know nobody want to pay you to fight any other girl right now, so you don't really have competition. I think this just might be a good time to go have that baby. Go chill, have that baby, and have your little family, take your little break, come on back. And if you still want box, maybe they got somebody worth boxing. But right now, ain't nobody really want to box you. You didn't beat everybody. We don't really want to see nothing. Sorry. Let's move on. Move around. Just like I told y'all, we moving around with my Saints. Just this season at the minimum. We might have to move on next season too, but we gonna start one season at a time, and we gonna start wearing this mask right here instead of the bags over our head. We decided to just wear our wolf mask every time we go to a Saints game. Now we don't plan on going to no Saints game, but if we do go, we gonna wear some type of disguise, okay? Just letting you know. We're going to be there, but we're going to be looking different because we're not really supporting anymore. Now, I still wear the gear that I already got. I'm not buying nothing new. Now, I might go to the Saints ball when I travel back to Texas with the kids and check out the game next week, but I just know that I can't support it like I used to. We're not doing that good. We're not expected to do that good. And what's worse is that our division looks good. Not too much on them Falcons because they don't look that good, but overall, the division looked pretty good. You see Carolina doing some things. You know, I see a lot of teams in the NFL doing pretty good. I like everything going on right now in NFL outside of my fantasy team. I like everything. I told y'all, fellas, it's the time to get out. It's the time to link up with the other fellas and watch the games. Games on 3, 4 times a week. So you got a lot of options. I'm not saying you could go out every day, but I'm saying you can go out every other week. You know, I'm trying to give you a chance, but a lot of y'all barely can even turn on the TV at home and sit down and watch a whole game. So not too much on y'all. I don't know. You know, I know something else not too much on my bowl. I've been trash. I'm gonna start wearing this disguise when I bowl too, because I promise you, I've been trying real hard. I've been putting in extra work practicing, but I have not made the type of adjustments I need that's going to show the different type of results I want. And I've been very hard on myself. I've been very frustrated, but I have not given up. I told a couple fellas tonight, I'm going to see you tomorrow night. I'm coming on Monday to work on some things. And I was just asking if a few of the guys that I haven't bowled with in a while was going to be there practicing. Sometimes they would stay after the league and work on some things. So I was just trying to check before I came up there. And they said they would. So I'm definitely going to work on some things. I'm going to pull out a few other balls to kind of experiment with and test out. But I need to do better in my bowl. Now I'm hoping that I can just chalk up to being rusty how I've been performing since my injury back in the spring. But nonetheless, it's just been excuses. So I'm hoping to be better. I hope y'all also check out this week my new video from the bowling alley where I show y'all me practicing and working on some things. I do a little voiceover. I give some feedback, some commentary, showing me critique myself, and give some other little commentary about different things going on, but something a little more different than what I be sharing with y'all. So hopefully it come out. But I needed to record myself. I needed to watch myself, see what's working, what's not working, and really take some notes so that I can improve. I know I'm better than what I'm showing. I know I desire to be better. And when you desire for things, they'll come, but sometimes they're not going to come when you want it. So keep that in mind. Just like we got to keep in mind, there's less than 60 days left in the year. So I hope everybody want to finish strong, but I hope you are working on your New Year's goals for next year. Okay. I hope you already trying to figure out what the resolutions you gonna make because this year over with. Okay, enjoy yourself, be with family and friends, try to save a few dollars because you see what's going on in the world, but you need to be already preparing for next year. I don't know where 2025 went, but like I keep telling y'all, like y'all keep telling me, we getting older and the clock keep ticking and we ain't getting no younger. So you gotta take care of yourself. You gotta enjoy yourself while you're here. And how are you gonna celebrate the holidays? Are you gonna be proactive with buying something for people for the holidays? I told y'all I'm gonna be proactive by not buying people that much. Okay. I'm also gonna be proactive by catching some of these deals, maybe for Black Friday, but hopefully before Black Friday. I'm already looking. I told y'all I'll be checking to see what Ross, TJ Maxx. I went into Marshalls the other day. I had to get some things for my mama to celebrate her birthday. I told y'all we keeping it very reasonable. I even had to go back into Target. I ain't gonna hold you. It was getting crunch time. I went in a few stores. I couldn't find anything her size. It was a little last minute, not too last minute, but a little last minute. But I kept looking till I found something good, and I got something really good. I think she liked it. My sister gave me some compliments, and she hard to impress. So I know it was decent. And I tried to coordinate and put a little theme together. So I think it was received very well. But definitely be proactive this year. Definitely finish the year all strong. Like I said, I'm working on myself. I'm working on my bowling. And I recently ran into my friend, Brother Gabe. Brother Gabe told me that he was celebrating his 1 year anniversary of being cancer free. He no longer has prostate cancer. He said it got all the way up to stage 4 cancer. He said he had choices. He had to do radiation, he had to do chemo, or he had to do surgery. And he chose radiation. So he said it worked out. And he's been cancer free for a while. So I'm happy that he's cancer free and he's in good spirits and he's still bowling. He said he was bowling the whole time and people didn't even know. So I'm glad he's able to still be here to share his story. And I had a few questions for him because as I was going to the doctor recently, you start learning where your colon and your prostate is at and how they check it. And a lot of the same procedures are done to evaluate what's going on with your body and those type of things for a man. So I had to ask him a couple of questions as I was telling him that I was just talking about this on a recent episode of the podcast and sharing with all my followers that men need to go to the doctor. So my first question to him was, how frequent was he going to the doctor before he found this out? And of course, he told me he was not going frequently at all. He said he ain't had nothing going on. He said nothing had been wrong. He was feeling just fine. I said, but how long had it been? He said, well, I hadn't really been to the doctor since I was 40. Now, Brother Gabe ain't 40 or 41. Okay, just throw that out there. Now, Brother Gabe knocking on 60. I don't know how close to 60, but we guessing at least. We could be a few days, few years above 60. I ain't gonna hold you. But to be going 2 years not going to the doctor, it's taking a lot of chances the older we get. And I was saying, well, Brother Gabe, you ain't think you was supposed to go get some checkups every now and again? Maybe every 3, 4 years, every 5 years? He said, nope, everything was feeling good. And I said, see, that's why I talk about black men need to go to the doctor, because we always think we better than what we really are. And we need to double check. We need confirmation because we don't always know. This not just for men, this for women too. Everybody think they know, but you need to go confirm whether you're right or wrong. And that's what he wasn't doing. He said luckily for his wife being there, seeing that he was in the bathroom a little too longer than he should be, and that he should go get some things checked out. See, she might have been being nice. I don't know what else the prostate affects, but the recommendation came from his lady. And that ultimately saved his life because he got checked up and he started making adjustments. He said he had to change everything he was doing. I said, well, Brother Gabe, what were you eating? Were you going to the gym? He said, I wasn't going to the gym and I was eating that Burger King frequently. He said, I was eating whatever I wanted, all the red meat. I said, well, that's why you were sick. You're not getting checked up on and you doing whatever you want. Now, for me, Brother Gabe, a good guy from what I know. He don't seem like he drink. He don't seem like he smoke. He's super active in church. He's devoted to his family. He likes to bowl. And I guess he likes his fast food. Now he say he won't be here. He say he not trying to be stuck with all the needles, as he didn't want to choose the options of surgery or chemo, as he said a lot of things come as a result when you have to do those type of options. So he had the option, luckily, of doing radiation, and luckily it worked out. But Brother Gabe created this for himself. He wanted to do what he wanted to do, live the life he wanted. Although it was a God fearing life, he did want to eat the type of foods that he wanted to eat. And we're learning that a lot of the things that's readily available for us aren't the best for us. That's why I keep really recommending eating at home more, because you don't really know what kind of ingredients people are using. You don't know how healthy the things are when you're not making it, when you're trying to do right. Maybe you use a good butter instead of the high sodium butter. Maybe you use the low sodium ketchup instead of the high sodium ketchup. Maybe you find ways to reduce some of the calories, some of the sugar in some of the options, some of the ingredients that you may use when you're cooking and preparing your food. Maybe you use some of the salt-free options. But unfortunately, you don't always know how they preparing the foods that they making when you eat now. And at the end of the day, you don't care. All you care about is convenience. All you care about is not doing any of the work. And it's sad because we see every day people doing what they want and having to suffer the outcome as a result. I keep trying to tell people, I keep trying to lead by example that we have to start making adjustments. We have to do better for ourselves. We have to want to be here. It's not just with the food, it's also with the lifestyle. You can make some adjustments, you can make some sacrifices. You can stop doing some things for longer periods of time. You have to start experimenting with yourself to see if you'll start getting better results. It's enough and it's time, and we need to all do better. Thank you for tuning in. Happy Halloween to everybody who had a good Halloween. I hope everyone stays safe. Like I said, 2 more months left before the end of the year. I hope you finish strong. I hope everyone stay close to family. I hope everyone is doing well during this government shutdown. This is not the time to lose yourself. This is the time to find ways to figure it out and to stay happy as long as you can and to control what you can control.
I can't do it, then it ain't real. I just make dollars, I don't make deals. I've been going hard in the paint, still blowing kush clouds till I can't feel like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like. 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like. 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right?